Alright, holy crap, guys. It feels good to be sitting behind this microphone. It's been over 2 months. Lots gone on. Last time we talked, we were talking about UFC 214 and John Jones winning. Now he's fucking been suspended. Then this whole shit with Charlottesville happened. We had all these hurricanes. We had this bullshit with the NFL. We've had a bunch of other stuff I don't even remember. We just had this shooting in Vegas. And I haven't been here for any of it. We haven't been here for any of it. It's just me right now. I got my friend John, who you guys have met before. I believe the episode was Warheads on Foreheads. He's the guy with the wrestling social media pages. But I just wanted to talk to you guys one-on-one, so to speak. Conover is working right now. He's not gonna be able to join us, so it's just gonna be me and John. But shit, it's been an interesting summer. Been trying to figure out where this is going. I felt like we had done a lot of good things up in the first 30, I think, the first 30 episodes. And then I had tried to move things in a direction which I thought was going to be good. Meaning get some guests who were not just friends of mine, but friends of mine who had specifically accomplished things. Not that we haven't done that before. Again, no offense to anybody who we've had on before. But you know, like we've talked to Simmer a couple times, who's accomplished a lot of things in music. We talked to Dr. Feldman, my professor, but for the most part, it's just been friends. And I kind of wanted to move up, move the bar up, move the standard up. And in doing that, I asked a couple different people if they would come on the podcast. We had a lot of scheduling issues, people saying they were willing to come on and then changing their minds. We're pretty open about what we talk about here, and they didn't want to be associated with that because of their careers or their school, and I didn't quite think about that. So then I got to a point of realization where that's the other thing that's happened. Morty is back in the picture. But yeah, I got to a point where I realized that, I don't necessarily need to have guests that are always going to have some super level of expertise. We've gotten, like I said, a lot of great things out of just normal conversations with friends. I think in reflecting, it's shown me something about myself and about Conover. I think that we surround ourselves with people who genuinely have good things to say. I think if I can pat ourselves on the back, I think Conover and I have greatly improved in our skills in terms of podcasters. And aside from Simmer and from Andrew Bourne from the Trumped Up episodes, we haven't had anybody back on the podcast. And I can't tell you how many, if you read the blog, I went over this, can't tell you how many people we finished up because we were running out of time. We're like, we got to do this again. This was so great. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be starting again with John, who's got a lot going on with social media. I thought he was the perfect person to kind of get the whole thing back going up. I think he's on his way here now. I'm gonna throw that to him kind of as the first thing and bounce that idea off of him, see what he thinks about it. This probably won't be the longest podcast, which might be a good thing for some of you. but yeah, he was already coming over. Simmer's also coming over later. It's the night of UFC 216, so just to put in perspective how long it's been since I've sat behind this microphone. But just on a whim, I was watching a Joe Rogan episode, and I was like, you know what? I'm not doing anything. John, if you're not doing anything, come on over. Again, if you read the blog, I thank you for that. But again, I just want to thank those of you who are still following this project, following the evolution of this. It's growing, and it's organic as it is. It's happening as you're seeing it. So I hate that so much time has gone by where nothing's come out, but that's life. That's how things go down sometimes, and I don't like that it happened, but it was a moment where I needed to sit back and reflect on what we were doing, like I said, and trying to bring this in the direction, or in a direction where it's going to work, and it's going to be something that I can enjoy, something I can accomplish, and something I can be proud of. Aside from the issues with people wanting to be associated with the show, people who have more going on tend to be harder to schedule. So that's another thing that was an issue with a different guest that was supposed to appear, who may still eventually appear, but it's harder when people are working full-time or working part-time and have a hobby or a passion or whatever it is that they're doing on the side that they're fully engulfed in. So we'll see where that goes. But again, I want to thank you guys so much. It's been an interesting summer. I'm sure I'll get into a little bit of it with John. I've seen him a couple times over the summer, but not really much. And maybe he'll throw back to me what's gone on and how that turns out. But that's all I really got. It's just been a lot of thinking and not knowing what the hell to do. And hopefully you guys can relate of just being in a spot where you just don't know what to do, but it doesn't mean you got to give up, and that's not what I'm going to do. And I know Conover has, obviously Conover and I have talked about it a lot. We have no intention of doing that, just because we didn't know where we were going at the time. And we still don't know where we're going. We're trying a couple different things, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And either way, it's gonna be something that we like. And if you trust in us and you like us, then it's gonna be something that you enjoy as well. So I'm gonna pause until he gets here. So cheers. All right, so John is here. What's going on, man?
Same old. It's working.
Right. So I was saying that I told you while you were on your way over that I was going to record this little intro thing. Mm-hmm. And basically what I said was that I hadn't, this is the first time I've been sitting behind the microphone in over 2 months. We haven't put out anything.
Jesus.
And yeah, it's been interesting. I kind of, after we hit 30 episodes, and then we did me and Conover did a one-on-one episode because there was a scheduling issue. And then we were talking a lot about like Antifa and like that kind of shit. And that was right before Charlottesville. And so we held off putting that episode out, and then like a whole bunch. Makes sense. Yeah, so there was a whole bunch of shit. There was a whole bunch of scheduling shit, and part of that was I wanted to step the game up, raise the bar, and get like higher level guests. And so I was looking to people who were like our friend who just bought a restaurant.
Yeah.
Our friend who recently moved across the country doing her doctor school stuff.
Which one's that? Oh, yeah. She's about to be a doctor. That's crazy.
She is a doctor.
She is.
She's now a doctor.
Certified G.
Yeah. And so they didn't want to be on the podcast because we're pretty open about, shit that we talk about, and for job, for school, career-wise, they didn't want to be on. There was another friend I had who just is busy with a lot of the shit he's doing, which is really cool. I want to talk to him about it. He's still probably going to come on. But yeah, it was kind of a point of pride that we were gonna every 2 weeks put out an episode, and I didn't foresee that when I was like, all right, now we're gonna kind of step it up, that, you know, not like, you know, you and people like Simmer, you know, we did an episode.
Simmer's a good episode.
We
man
did,
is talented.
We did 2 with him, actually. We did another one. I don't know if you
I didn't see the second one.
Yeah, we did one.
He's got a recital or something coming up.
I think that's tomorrow, right?
No, I believe it's the 15th. It's later.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, basically, you having a lot of social media success, and again, we talked about this last time about how you have a basic platform with the wrestling, and you have a lot of other people that you work with, but
18 of us.
That's a lot of people. I've now kind of revisited this, and I'm sorry to the listeners that I'm repeating basically exactly what you just heard, but there was the initial idea that I would change things up a little bit and step the game up, but then when that posed its own problems, I realized, like, you know, a lot of the episodes that we've done, number one, have come out well.
Yeah.
Number two, Conover and I, our skills as hosting a podcast have increased just by doing it more. And a lot of times we end an episode and we'll be like, yo, that was great. We got to do it again. And besides Simmer and Andrew Bourne, nobody has come on, and now nobody has come on more than once. So have you, across your pages and stuff, have you guys kind of hit any points at which you're like, are we doing this? Do we got to change this? Do those conversations come up? Or do you guys kind of have...
They definitely do. They definitely do. It gets to a point that you're like, are we doing enough to reach our fan base? And are we doing enough that other people aren't doing? Like,
exactly.
That's
the big thing, too.
Do we have enough original stuff? Like, our pages, we pride ourselves on having original content and not having #fake news. Where,
just to remind everybody, you do stuff with the Real Wrestling Community, TRWC Attitude.
Well, we actually split off from those guys.
Oh, really?
A bunch of us, yeah.
Okay, so what is it that you're doing? It's
the Wrestling Outsiders. Because we had a bit of a falling out with the owner over... it's not that we just didn't trust him, really. Like, we were doing all this work, and the owner of the page wasn't doing anything. And he wouldn't put one of our suggestions up to be an admin of the page with more responsibility over the pages. He just had us all as editors. And it got to a point where we're like, well, we do all the work, though. So
well, I'm sorry to hear that, but that's actually perfect for the purpose of this conversation.
So we broke off from that, started back at zero. We have the Wrestling Outsiders, which is more discussion orientated, like what ifs, happy birthdays, friggin' on this day in wrestling history, stuff like that. And then we have the Meme Elite, which is like weekly from the TV shows or the various outlets or wrestling companies. We make memes about them. So basically NFL memes on a Sunday, but...
Yeah, with wrestling. With, like, Raw. And
Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I don't think about any of those shits. But yeah, so that's quite poignant.
Yeah, so we actually we started back at zero, and within the first month we were up to 5,000 fans that jumped over. that jumped over from the Real Wrestling Community because they like us.
Yeah, right.
Opposed to the actual brand, they were like, "Oh, where'd these admins go?" And
word up.
We came to an agreement with the other page that they would let their fan base know where we went.
Oh, cool.
And a ton of them jumped over to us.
Word up. That's really legit. And that's another thing I referenced in the little intro is that, you know, this thing, AweReally, that Conover and I are doing is all happening in real time organically. Like, there's no game plan, there's no anything. I released a blog post about it last week, just saying, like, I'm still here. It's not like I'm just not, like, fucking off. It's just I'm lost. I don't really know what the fuck to do. And to remind everybody that we started out with the first few episodes. We had topics. It was just the two of us. It was us telling you what we think, and we're just like, fuck, we don't really know that much, and so that's when the idea of bringing guests on and having organic conversations, all that shit started, and that lasted us a long time. And I don't know exactly what it was that gave me the idea that I needed to change things up, but it felt like
you hit a rut.
Yeah, it just felt like we were plateauing, but again, as I flirt with the idea, or one realize again the not the pressures, but the responsibility and the time commitment and the foresight needed to plan, getting the type of guests that I would want to have on a regular basis, and going outside of just my friend group and all that kind of thing, which I still plan to do in general. But not in the fridge always does that. I can turn off the AC, but I can't do that. But so I still plan to do that, but on a longer timeline where I don't want to stop just having the fun conversations with friends, and two, it doesn't need to be a big switch. That I was like, well, because I was watching, everybody knows I'm a Joe Rogan dick rider. And I was watching an episode where he had a guest, it might have been Brendan Schaub or Cameron Haynes or whoever he has on, for like the third time in a month.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't a boring conversation. And it was about relatively the same things. But it was because of the fact that I like Rogan, I like Brendan Schaub.
I don't follow him much, but anytime I do see a clip of Rogan, I'm like, damn, I connect with this.
Exactly, and so I'm like, maybe that's the kind of thing that I can build. Is that Conover and I as a duo, as the AweReally dudes, can be the main attraction of what we're doing, and not necessarily be
the guests.
Not just that it would be the guests, because that's still something that I see in the future, that like, okay, I want to have like, the big name, like people who you would search for them on YouTube and find their interview with us. Eventually that would be the goal. I mean, before,
of course,
but I mean, even in between that, like there's someone my dad was talking about this morning. I was at the Safe and Gentle office, who's he's a scuba diver, a professional scuba diver who was in the military, and I think he's also a cop. Woof. And so like that there's just a lot there. And so he's like, well, would you want to talk to him on the podcast? And I'm just like, I don't know. Right now, maybe? I don't know. And especially not like a coming back after 2 months episode. And again, that's why I was like, it just clicked as I was watching a different Joe Rogan episode. I was like, oh, I should have John on. And it sucks that Conover's not coming home. He's actually going to his parents'. They're having a surprise party for his mom's birthday. So
surprise!
Happy birthday, Patty. But yeah, it's that gives me some confidence that maybe it's sometimes you gotta just do that shit, and it's like,
well, I've oddly enough been listening to a ton of like on my drive to work and stuff like that. Instead of listening to like the silly morning shows, I've been listening to 101.5. Talk radio.
Connor listens to that.
And dude, I don't agree with a lot of their politics, but just like the way they deliver it, I guess, keeps me listening. Because the guy and the gal they have in the midday portion of their programming or whatever. It just feels like they've been on the air so long that they don't care anymore. So they have these topics. Like the other day they were talking about the Wawa that had the maggots in a sandwich or whatever.
I did not hear
and they had callers calling in about weird stuff that they had found in their stuff. Or another one, there was a lady that had like 15 puppies in her van and outside of a Walmart, and they arrested her for animal abuse. So they had people calling in about what would be a weird amount of pets. When does it get to be too much? And this one lady called in. She was like, "Yeah, I have 2 cats, 3 dogs. I have this. And the guy's just like, "Whoa, you are a nut." And like just completely cut. So I just from listening to them, like they don't always have guests on, but it keeps me listening just because it's them. I like the Dominski and Doyle guys that are on when I'm driving home. These 2 guys they have like 4 topics. They take a topic per hour, or you could do a topic per like 20 minutes, and talk to Conover, talk to whoever else is here. Shoot, every now and then you could do the Netflix episode where you talk about what you've been watching recently.
That's not a bad idea, actually. That's a really good idea. Because I watch a shit ton of Netflix.
Who doesn't, though?
I mean, yeah, but I watch a shit ton.
And everybody's always looking for that next thing to watch.
That's a good idea, dude.
Every, like, month or so, I'm on Google, like, what's good on Netflix? I'd rather hear from somebody like you that's like, yo, this is good on Netflix, and this is why.
Speaking of which, have you seen American Vandal?
No, not yet.
Who drew the dicks? Bro,
you were telling me the other day.
Dude, you would love... I mean, it's a great show. Anybody would love it, but it's like our kind of humor, and they go... It's like mockumentary style.
Yeah.
But it's just like so over the top ridiculous, but they do it in a way that it's subtle at the same time. Like, if you could easily watch it and not know that it was
a mockumentary.
A mockumentary for a good at least 40 minutes into the first episode.
Like, I could show it to my dad and not give him any context, and he'd think this is ridiculous.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Oh, they're making a show about this? Like, what?" And it's like, because it's ridiculous, but it's so well done that it's
That's
like
awesome.
I read like articles about it, and they like directly took off the Making a Murderer style.
Really?
And that like Netflix is so cool, letting people make a show that is kind of a parody of one of their own, a Netflix original that's a parody of a Netflix original. Morty being annoying. You're in the way. But I love you. I'm glad you're back. Yeah.
But yeah, I would listen to this shit out of that.
Word up. That's good. Yeah. And I mean, I'm kind of in general opposed to veering away from the just long form organic conversational thing, but especially when there's like when there's scheduling issues and it's just me and Conover. A lot of times we'll take those opportunities to talk a little more politics.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean that only goes so far, because it's like, dude, it's Trump being a douchebag, but at the same time, everybody who hates Trump is being just as much of a douchebag, and that's caught you up on the last month worth of news.
This month, everybody's been a douchebag. See you next month.
Just in. Pretty much.
Breaking news. Douchebags everywhere.
Speaking of,
Speaking of,
the new fucking... I just got back. I don't know what happened, because South Park just started, and South Park was...
Oh my god, it's been so good.
It was already on my DVR to record the new episodes. Morty, come on, dude. You gotta... It's already been it was already on my DVR to record the new episodes, but for whatever reason, I hadn't seen the last.
He comes right back to the same spot.
I hadn't seen the last season or the last couple seasons because they were doing like a marathon of the previous season on the day the premiere aired. And I was watching a couple episodes, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And so I know that I'd seen, like, shit with PC Principal, but I hadn't seen to when they started making everything, like, really...
A cohesive story.
Yeah. As the last
There's shout-outs to previous episodes and things you need to know.
You have to watch them in order now, which is awesome. But
I'm mad because they don't have the most recent episode on demand yet.
Yeah, and they don't have... Yeah,
I never touch shows on the day they air, besides wrestling.
TVR, bro! That's the one. But that's been fucking hilarious, and I love how they're so on point.
15th.
It is the 15th. Oh, word! I thought it was this weekend. So maybe I can go to that because I told him I was working. Simmers, is he performing?
I think he's performing. I'm not sure. We'll ask him tonight.
All right, we will. Yeah, it's coming over for UFC 216.
But yeah, South Park has been fucking hilarious lately.
I haven't seen... Wait, what day is it? Saturday? I haven't seen Wednesday's episodes, so...
Yeah, I haven't seen the most recent one.
Okay, weird. But, so there's been like the
Just
3
put
episodes.
it down.
They're so... I don't know. I don't get it. How after... That's like... one of those things where it's like, how after 23 years have you just hit that sweet spot where you just know how the fuck to do it better than everybody else, and it doesn't get tired, and it's reminiscent enough of itself where it's not like they're trying all this brand new shit.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, they're doing the cohesive storylines, but it's not like a different South Park.
No.
Cartman's still Cartman.
I feel like it's a bit less cringy than it was about 6-7 years ago. Like Try Hard, I think it was. But they got to the same level for me as Family Guy did, where I'm just like, this isn't funny.
I'm trying to think. Like, what kind of storylines are you thinking? Because I mean, at that time they were still doing like current events, like that week, like shit that happened that week.
I don't know. I just fell off of it because I would switch South Park on, and I guess I had this stigma in my head, and I'm like, I don't want to watch South Park. And then
it's been great.
I think it was you that said, "Yo, South Park is lit," and I was like, "All right, let me turn it on." And then I watched the first 3 episodes of this season like in a row. I was like, "This is amazing."
Yeah, it's been fucking great. I wish I had that confidence in, and I mean by now I'm sure they do, but I wonder at what point you get that confidence in what you're doing to just be like, fuck it, we're doing this. Because again, coming back to this whole idea, it's just like, how the fuck do you know? And I mean, it doesn't have to do with just like TV or any kind of art form, just like your fucking life. Like, where do you get to the point, or do you ever get to the point, I guess some people do, where you're just like, yeah, we're fucking doing this, right? We got this.
I think it goes along with that whole, 10,000 hours of doing something, you become an expert. It just...
I don't know, man. I think I've been alive for 10,000 hours.
And I'm not an expert at living.
I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, I just do construction now, man. I go to work, build shit for a couple hours, and go home, and then wrestling. And then sometimes Netflix.
Are you trying to like do something with that?
Well, it's my dad's business right now, so basically I'm just trying to learn how to do everything that goes into fixing and flipping a house. He's at that level where he's like having meetings with auction.com to get first dibs at a new house and stuff like that, so we get the work. So basically I'm ground level of that. And
Connor was trying to start like a little handyman
Really?
like pool-based, but general handyman business. Next, after the winter, because he's been working with the pool company, and they're paying him. He got a raise. He's doing all right, but he's like, a lot of this shit, I don't need a boss to tell me what to do. And a lot of the customers are like, I don't like dealing with your boss. I'd rather deal with you. So, damn, I wish he was here. You guys should, but I'll definitely, that's a conversation you guys gotta have, because, I mean, you guys can go into business, makes money.
Yeah, we do everything from landscaping to siding to roofing to basements, damn near everything, dude.
Hey, you want a beer?
I mean, it's early now. I won't be leaving for a while. Yeah, give me a beer.
All right, I got a Beta Peach or Founders IPA.
Peach sounds fine.
Right.
So put it down if you're president.
Yeah, so that was the unusual thing that I wanted to do, was to jump in and have a specific question. Usually I'm just like, hey man, what's going on? But that was a helpful answer, and the fact that you went off on your own, and again, like I said, I know you have the structure to gain fans, and you had your previous thing, so I shouldn't.
And we still had the Twitter and the Instagram pages that the other guy didn't own, so we just converted those over to the new brand name.
Gotcha.
So that was a jumping off point of 10,000 Instagram followers and 5,000 Twitter followers. So
it's hard, it's hard to watch people, like, because I mean, again, I hate to always talk about the same people, but it's hard to watch Rogan hit over 1,000 episodes. It's hard to watch even, like Brendan Schaub do his Big Brown Breakdown, which I always listen to. That's a koozie under your thing if you want to. Well, I mean, if you want to keep it cold. And he does his Big Brown Breakdown. I listen to that I try to listen to every episode, but especially before every pay-per-view, I listen to that. Okay. And there's other podcasts that are just like legit. There's YouTube shows like the Rubin Report, which I watch. I don't watch them all as they come out, but there'll be, he usually does hour and a half interviews, and so there'll be a day where I'll bang out 2 or 3 of them and keep up with them. And he's got home studio. He's fully fan funded. And it's hard to, and then, I mean, you think back to, again, TV shows, movies, musicians, anything, the fact that people have made it, quote unquote. It's hard to envision the fact that there was a time when they hadn't made it and just be like, fuck.
There was a time they were recording episodes in their kitchen with a fridge in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if I told you about it, but I've definitely talked about it on the podcast before, but one of the pages, or the YouTube channels that me and Connor really like to watch, did a series. It was, what was it called? Shit. I'm blanking out. Crash Course Philosophy. And they did like 35 episodes on different philosophical topics, and they did it was like a short, 5-10 minute video, but they hit all the points really quick. And it was done by, or funded by PBS, I guess. But if you, on the same
viewers
channel,
like you,
the same dudes. It's a dude and his twin brother did another Crash Course something else. But you follow them back, and 5 years ago, they would have random videos on an old school webcam. They had an EP of science songs and just really obscure shit,
out there stuff.
Yeah, and it's you have to just remember that everybody takes their time to find their way. And then the other thing is that I'm gonna be 28 next month, and the old adage of approaching 30, and it's what are you doing with your life, whatever. But as millennials, of course, we get that that extra, whatever you want to call it, 5 years or whatever, where we've been infantilized by society and we can't hold ourselves to the same standards. Like, how many of us still live with our parents? I mean, there you go, you know? And I mean, you know, you were in the military. You work a fucking a job where you work with your hands, so it's not like you're sitting around jerking off all the time, you know? And, but it's just...
I mean, I do that a lot, too.
It's just the way that it goes. It's part of how our generation is, and it's where we're going. So,
well, I don't think we're on the same timeline as everybody else, because I mean, honestly, we're living longer now.
That's definitely true too. But I think part of what is more...
What are you gonna do? Retire at 60 and then do nothing for 30 years when you die at 90?
Hopefully, that would be awesome. That would be fucking awesome. Just have fucking 30 years to just chill.
Now it sounds weird without the refrigerator.
But the other thing is that the Instagram, we're the Instagram generation, where everybody's putting out, you know, you might know 10 people that have, like, at our age, got it going on. They've got their shit figured out. But they're always posting on social media about how they got their shit going on. Yeah. And then everybody else is posting all the cool shit they're doing, the fun shit they're doing, and whatever. So it makes it seem like everybody else is doing way better than they actually are. So it's just like, fuck, what am I doing? When in reality, everybody else is just as useless as we are. You know? Which is to say, not that useless. We're just in our 20s figuring shit out.
Yeah, I work sometimes six days a week with my hands, construction. I make good pay, and I still live with my dad. Like, it's
and that's the story for a lot of people.
And then people that aren't living with their parents are living with roommates, or if they're not living with a roommate, they're living with their significant other. So nobody's struggling to fucking by themselves.
I haven't been able to go shop. Like, okay, so we went to me and Conover went to Electric Zoo over Labor Day weekend. We spent a shit ton of money.
Oh, I bet.
I'll wait to talk about that when he's here, because it was his first
festival.
It was his first electronic festival. So I definitely want to get his thoughts on that organically on record. But
I saw this.
It was fucking dope.
He did fucking lion tamer.
Yeah, they were talking about that on the Breakdown with Brendan Schaub, and he's like, either that is fake or that dude never should go back in the cage ever again. They're talking about what's that move called?
The Lion Tamer?
The Lion Tamer, yeah. There's some fight where some MMA fight where a guy won by submission for that. It's like, why are you not twisting and grabbing his feet? What are you doing?
Well, it's like breaking his back. You ever been put in that?
No, but hurts. I mean, I'm not trained in jiu-jitsu. You should be able to kick your leg over or some shit.
That's a...
Dude, that's in real life, bro.
That's a cage fight.
I know, but that's what they're saying. That's where, like, either that's fake or you need to go back and not get in the cage ever again, because anyone who's trained in any kind of grappling can get out of that.
I don't think so.
I'm just parroting what a former professional MMA UFC fighter has said.
Well, I'll take his word on it, I guess. But I've been put in that. I'm not a professional wrestler.
Exactly. How much jiu-jitsu training have you had?
Or a jiu-jitsu master, but that shit hurts. And I
don't know how to get out of it.
I can imagine him squeezing the ankles enough to hold him there, and then just cranking it back where you're like, fuck, tap.
I suppose, but then you have no business being in the fucking cage.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree.
So that's always one or the other.
You shouldn't be able to be put into the lion tamer.
Exactly.
But I'm not taking away from the pain aspect of being put into it.
No, not at all.
I would tap out too.
So would I. But anyway, I was saying, so we spent a shit ton of money over Labor Day weekend at this festival, which was awesome. But again, we'll talk about that at some future date. And, we can talk about that later. I don't know if we...
I'm going to a big festival in California coming up called Escape.
Oh, I've heard of that. Word
It's
up.
going to be... It's $116 per person.
That's not bad.
So it's gonna be a good time, and it's right on Halloween weekend. So
Nice.
I'm dressing up, and there's gonna be a lot of ladies dressed up.
Ladies. Yeah, I've been broke. We've been broke. There's you live at home, or you barely eat. It's part of being in your 20s.
I guess so. Call us
Unless you're one of those 10 people on Instagram who's like, I made it! Yay, look at me!
I sell houses for a living.
Exactly. Dude, you're thinking of the same exact type of people that I'm thinking of. Like, I love real estate. I'm doing so well. And it's like, that's, I guess that's a business that's like, that goes really well with social media.
Yeah, I guess so.
But, yeah, those kind of people. All the time. It's just like, maybe I'll get my fucking real estate license.
Yeah,
like,
right? I was thinking about it too. My dad's actually selling the house, and I'm looking at this lady show the house to people, and I'm like, what do you do?
And my mom does home staging for when you're selling the house and you want to get rid of all the personal effects. You want to make it look nice, but you also want to make it look or have a look in such a way where people can picture their own lives.
Yep.
And
taking all the pictures off the wall, putting the couches a certain way.
Exactly.
Like
so that's what she does when she's not working for free in my dad's office, which I get paid for, and she does a lot more work. But hey, she lives with the doctor, so fuck her. But yeah, and so she has a lot of real estate contacts, but it's just like I have a lot of tattoos.
That's where a long sleeve shirt comes in. Me and you are on the same level that we know not to get tattooed above the neck. Though.
Yeah,
I got them on my hands though.
I've been thinking about it. I haven't done it. I just got this one on Sunday.
Oh shit!
Conover's friend opened Moonrise Tattoo Shop in Hamilton, NJ.
All right.
And they had a bunch of.
Damn, those lines are crisp.
This chick did it. But yeah, it says what exit. If you get that, shout out. You don't get it?
Exit 9?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. Everybody in Jersey's like, what exit?
That's what I thought, but I didn't want to.
You didn't want to sound like a dumbass, and now you sound like a dumbass.
No, I didn't want to be like, oh, is that from a show? Like, what exit? Is a quote or whatever.
No, yeah, they had all. It's a bunch of guys. Well, the owner is from the area in Hamilton, but there's a bunch of people who actually live in Holland, and they're slowly making the move over. Yeah. So they just had their grand opening on Sunday.
Immigrants taking our jobs. All that tattooing I could be doing. No, I can't be doing it. I can't write my name.
But they had a bunch of $50 NJ natured tattoos. She's in Conover's. It's pretty cool. He's got on his form about this same size as this one. It's a NJ outline with a rose like a rose cut out with the NJ
superimposed in it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And it's really well done. The color palette it's fucking packed, and you white people can get some sick. Because like I don't even know what the state bird and flower are, but the state bird here, whatever that is, let me look that up. But it's yellow.
I don't know what I'm gonna get, but I'm getting one on the 13th.
Yeah. So hear this, fucking. This may actually have made it into the last podcast, but I think it did. We were at the Asbury Tattoo Convention in July, and my dad was walking around, and he walks by Revolver's booth, and he went to go say thank you to them because it was like one time that I went there. that he was talking to some of the artists and gave him the whole idea to start the laser removal thing.
Oh, really?
And as soon as he walks up, I'm not going to say any names, but one of the artists was like, I know who you are. And like snaps at him. He's like, what? And
Snaps at you?
no, at my dad.
Oh.
And she's like, you're the doctor. And he's like, yeah. He's like, your son's going around talking shit about our shop, like this, that, whatever. And what she is referring to is the fact that I got tattooed at Old Glory in Asbury Park, which is a great shop. I've never had any... All I had ever said about Revolver was that sometimes I feel like they can be a little impersonal. And
Yeah, a little abrasive.
and I even, said that I don't blame them for that because they're in an area, they're right in Rutgers territory, where I'm sure they get a lot of stupid fucking college kids.
Right on Easton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
I can imagine.
That's all that I said, and I guess whoever I said that to, it was either at Electric Tattoo or Old Glory Tattoo, where I've gotten tattooed both in Asbury. Well, once in Asbury, once in Neptune. But I guess small community, they're all friends, and word got back. And it got turned into I was talking shit about their shop. Which, if anybody is listening that knows them or whatever, is not the case. I was never talking shit about them. I just had a critique. And even if I was, like, if I didn't have a good experience, number one, who are you to be like, how dare you not have a good experience at our shop? And number two, it was me that said something, not my 60-year-old father in a doctor's lab coat who's coming up to say thank you.
Oh, you're the doctor.
And it was just a weird thing. So that's why, I mean, like, I can't go back there now because they'll fuck my shit up, which sucks because they were always a place that they have a lot of opening, and a lot of openings, a lot of walk-ins available, and a lot of my tattoos are impulsive, and
Same.
I like to just go in and wake up and be like, oh, I'm gonna get tattooed today. And a lot of other places like Rabbit's Den, which is a great shop.
Do you know if Rabbit's Den is doing the 13 this time?
I don't, but
I mean, I imagine they are.
I do have work that day at 5, but if they're doing shit, I'm down to go there like early so we could.
I would be at work.
Oh, well,
because I work from like 8 to 4:30, so there's a 30-minute overlap that in a perfect world we could hop in.
yeah, right.
And you go to work, but that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it sucks, but I love those. I love those days you just fucking wake up and be like, yeah, tattoo today. And you walk home with a new tattoo. But yeah,
I've done that a couple times. This one's one like that. This peace sign.
Sweet. Oh, so by the way, the New Jersey state bird is the American goldfinch, and the state flower is the Viola sororia. Both are which are in this tattoo.
Both are wicked gay.
Wicked awesome, dude.
Wicked awesome, dude. Hey, Mike, how come you don't have an accent? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm wicked smart.
Shit. So, what do you know about the fight tonight?
Nothing. Tell me. Give me the lowdown.
It's I will preface everything I'm going to say by the fact that I listened to the Big Brown Breakdown today. That being said, I have my own opinions. I've been looking forward to this fight this event for a little while.
They've been on a streak with having pay-per-views like every weekend, right?
Not pay-per-views every weekend, but September was a heavy... I think every weekend in September there was a fight. There was one that was Fight Pass only. There was two... Yeah, there was one that was Fight Pass only. There was 2 that were free on either FS1 or FXX, and there was 2 15.
Okay.
Which I still haven't seen, because what the fuck was I doing? Oh, I was at Christian's going away party. So hopefully after tonight that'll be available on Fight Pass, and that was a fucking card and a half.
Yeah.
Where Amanda Nunes, the chick who beat
I know her.
Yeah, she fought, and so among a number of other good people have fought. So I want to watch that as soon as it's available on Fight Pass. But yes. Tonight, just being a meme knowledgeable person, are you aware of Derek the Black Beast Lewis? This is somebody you need to follow.
Yeah?
Because he is fucking hilarious.
He's not the Pokeball guy, is he?
He's a what?
He's not the Pokeball guy, is he?
No.
Pokeball
He's in Bellator. He's pretty sweet, but he's a heavyweight. Number one, he's just awesome because he's from Houston, and during all the flooding and shit, he was out in like he's got a big ass truck, I think he's got a boat, and he was like just straight up helping people, like, digging people out of their homes and shit. But he just, on his Instagram, he posts just funny ass shit that most of it has nothing to do with fighting or anything. It's just like funny ass shit. And then, Paige Van Zandt, the fucking banging ass flyweight, or now she's a flyweight, strawweight, whatever. She happened to, she was supposed to fight tonight, I think. She was supposed to fight tonight, I think? I don't know. She was supposed to fight recently, if not tonight. And she got pink eye and ringworm.
Oh, I know how that happens.
And it's funny you say that, because MMA Memes posted the news, and he comments, "You gotta wash it out before you eat ass."
No!
It's like, oh! And I don't know.
That's hilarious.
They posted some update, and he was just like, "I'm not saying shit." And it's so funny. And he recently went.
You gotta wash it.
I forget exactly, but it was something to that effect. And so he recently went on he went vegan. And he's a heavyweight. He weighed in at 263. He usually weighs in at like I don't even know, like 270. So I think 265 is the limit. But I think he usually has to cut weight to make the limit. And it was just like a meme that was going around. He's like, "Fuck this vegan shit. I want my McRibs and all my favorite shit." And they were asking about his vegan lifestyle, and he was like, "Yeah, sometimes it makes it easier to poop." And he's like, and they were like, "What's the best way to, if you want to get into the vegan lifestyle?" He's like, "Here's what you do: you get some chicken, you rub it on the food that you're gonna eat, and then throw away the chicken." They're like, "Are you gonna keep this up?" And like, "Well, we'll see." And he last fought Mark Hunt, which is a guy who got beat up by Brock Lesnar, and
illegally.
Absolutely illegally. And I think it was Mark Hunt threw a knee to the body to Derek Lewis, and he winced, and he in the post-fight interview, I don't remember if it was Joe Rogan or if it was somebody else, that was like, "Oh, that hit looked like it hurt." He was like, "No, I just had to take a dump." He's the funniest fucking fighter. It's so.
I just had to take a dump, and he hit me in that spot.
Yeah, so he's fighting Fabricio Verdum, who is like 40 years old. He's been a champion, and he's been around the block, and so Brennan Schaub says, gun to his head, he would pick Fabricio, but if you wanted to make some money, the underdog fighter to bet on for the night would be Derek Lewis, and I'm a fucking Derek Lewis fan all the way. I want to see Derek Lewis win so badly. Other fights. Shit, let me pull up the card. Let me pull up the card here.
Yo, bangs.
The main event is very interesting, but I'll get there. Who else? Oh, fucking Mighty Mouse. Demetrius Johnson is fighting.
Shit.
He has... I get the numbers mixed up. I believe it's 10 title defenses, 11 belts, if not 9 title defenses and 10 belts, whatever. He's tied Anderson Silva for the title defense record. This is in the flyweight division, 125. So they were supposed to fight at UFC 215, but Ray Borg, his opponent, got sick. Like the day before, the morning of or something, I had to pull out, which sucks because then it's like you're trained, you're ready, and now it's just like, we're gonna move this a month later. So it's like, do you maintain? Do you train a little bit harder? What do you do? But so tonight that fight is happening, and if Demetrius Johnson, who is called the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world, which I mean again means only so much when dude's 125 pounds. Yeah. But he will break the record for most title defenses in UFC history, which is interesting. Definitely interesting.
If/when he wins tonight.
If/when he wins. And Ray Borg has come out. His opponent has come out and with I think he said 3rd round submission. He's like, I'm calling it right now. So
that's weird. In the 3rd round, I'm gonna tap him out. Not the 1st or 2nd, but
well, I mean, it's not so weird. A lot of times when guys call things out like that, it's because you know the fighter. You know that you're not gonna come out and bulldog. Yeah. I mean, especially in that weight division, that's just not how you win in that division. These guys, they don't have the punching power. I mean, of course, anything can happen, but you kind of got to pick the guy apart a little bit and find that. But so, he called that out. But that would be the biggest upset in recent. I mean, since Cody Garbrandt beat. Are you familiar with that when Cody Garbrandt fought Dominic Cruz?
No, I don't think so.
The guy, the young kid who he was like talking mad shit. Dominic Cruz was like one of the most decorated bantamweights ever. He was the guy who Cody Garbrandt basically came out of nowhere. He had only a few fights, and he just fucking picked Dominic Cruz apart. Dominic Cruz is a very unorthodox fighter. He switches stances a lot, and he basically is just like, you're fucked if you're fighting Dominic Cruz. But he came in, he boxed the shit out of him, and there's a gif of Cody Garbrandt. I think it was like 6 punches in a row. He just ducks each one of them, and then he does like the wave with his hands. He's like, "Yeah, bitch, what?" And he, I don't remember if it was decision or if it was TKO, but he won, and he won the belt. And then he went on to be the coach for the previous season of The Ultimate Fighter.
Oh wow.
Unfortunately, the fight that he was supposed to fight somebody else for the championship, but that's not happening until 217, which is a whole other story. That's gonna be a fucking card and a half.
I want to find this gif. Hold on. I'll probably do it.
And the main event is Tony Ferguson versus Kevin Lee. Now, Tony Ferguson is a fucking beast.
Jeez.
Is that it? Yeah. I'm just like, what? And like, that doesn't, like, Dominic Cruz is the guy, for the 135 pound weight division. He's the guy. But yeah, so the main event tonight, Tony Ferguson is on a 9-fight win streak. He's been in some fucking barn burner fights. He can take a punch like a motherfucker. He's got great striking, a lot of unorthodox movements, and he's really good at jiu-jitsu. He's fighting Kevin Lee, who is, I think he's on like a a relatively similar streak, but he hasn't been in the UFC as long. So his his professional record is or his professional streak is similar, but I think he's only had a few wins in the UFC. And his last fight during the presser for like the summer presser.
Yeah.
He was talking shit to his opponent, and he's another one of these like flashy dressers trying to market himself like, you know. He wore like a snakeskin jacket on Fox this week or something.
Jeez.
And so like flashy guy, and he was talking to this guy Michael Chisea, something like that. I don't know. And they were talking shit back and forth, and he said something about his mom. And this dude with a fucking mullet, he's like, "Don't you fucking talk shit about my mom!" And they're on opposite sides of the stage, where it's like 3 events that they're doing the presser on one. And he gets across the stage, and like they start swinging at each other before security gets in there. So when the fight happens, this happened again at 2:15, which couldn't have been 2:15. But it probably So it probably happened somewhere in August or July. Anyway, happened since the last podcast. He had him in a choke. He got his back and he had him in a choke. And a lot of times, you know, when a guy is choking you, you'll be fighting the hands.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was very near the end of the round. So sometimes what a guy will do is try to just like tense up and ride it out and just like relax the rest of your body. Yeah. And this guy Michael Chisella or whatever the fuck his name is, don't fucking matter now. He relaxed his arms, and in everyone, I mean, again, I don't know, I'm just parroting the experts. In everyone's opinion, he was going out anyway.
Yeah.
But his argument, like, and I mean, again, it's hard to tell because the ref stopped the fight, and as soon as he stopped the fight, this guy got up and he's like, "What the fuck? I wasn't out. Yeah. But like when you get choked out like that, you don't stay out that long. Like as soon as they let go, like you're back. It's just as long as the oxygen is cut off to your brain or the blood supply, whatever the fuck it is, you pass out. But as soon as they let go, you're back. And a lot of times these guys don't know what happened. Yeah. So a lot of times they'll argue. They'll be like, "No, I was fine. It's like, nah, bro, you were not fine." But there's a good argument because he wasn't like limp. Mm-hmm. He just like let his arms down a little bit. And I'm absolutely sure we'll see that replay at some point or multiple points tonight. And so he definitely, or most likely, would have won that fight regardless, but it was a controversial win because of the way he won. And now they're fighting for the interim belt. This is Conor McGregor's weight class.
Oh, okay.
So Conor McGregor has this belt, but Tony Ferguson and this guy Kevin Lee are fighting for the interim belt. So it's an important fight because everybody wants to see Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz 3.
Yeah. That's
the money fight. But Conor just had a big money fight with Mayweather, and if he cares about having any stock as a real fighter and not just making money and riding off into the sunset, no hate, but yeah, you know, if you can't do both, then you want to wait to see who wins this interim belt, because he hasn't defended a belt ever. He got this. Really? He got the lightweight belt. He moved down, beat Jose Aldo. Right? It was Jose Aldo first? Or no, I think he beat Jose Aldo first, and then he got beat Eddie Alvarez. Either way, he got both belts, and he hasn't defended them. Okay. The last thing he did was win the second belt, and then he went and then did nothing in between, and then fought Mayweather. So he hasn't defended a belt ever. So everybody's like, nobody is seriously questioning his ability to do so, but the fact is he hasn't defended the belt. So he can come back, defend his belt against an interim champion, Nobody really thinks. In featherweight, Max Holloway has the actual championship belt because he had to vacate one of them when he went to box. So that makes sense. He beat Jose Aldo first because that's the one he had to vacate, the featherweight belt. And Max Holloway beat somebody. I don't remember. And so Max Holloway is really cool about it. A lot of people were saying, like, oh, you never beat Conor McGregor, who holds the belt. And he was like, look, the Cavs and the Golden State Warriors, whoever won last year, that's great. But you don't come back this year and be like, yo, we beat you, so we're the champions. You were the 2015 champion, I'm the 2017 champion. That's just the way it is. Like, fair enough. And nobody thinks he's going back down to 145? It's featherweight? Yeah, 135. Nobody thinks he's going back down. So we've kind of moved on from that. Max Holloway is the champion. But 155 is his fighting weight. He went up to 170 to fight Nate Diaz. But again, he went up to fight that. 155 is his true fighting weight. Okay. So he has that featherweight belt. He's officially the champion of that division. So, like I said, the UFC, and again, according to all these UFC analysts, the UFC is looking for their next big star, because a lot of these guys, especially like, Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, the guy who's about to break the record, for whatever reason, he's not pulling in pay-per-view buys.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys who hold the belt, they're not stars like that, which unfortunately, whereas with, your traditional sports, baseball, football, whatever, where they're just on, and everybody watches them because they're on, you have to get people to buy the event. So you need people who can sell a fight. So,
trust me, I know about that with my hobby.
Right. So this guy Kevin Lee has a little bit more of that star quality where he can talk and he's flashy, and Tony Ferguson is a little bit more of a weathered veteran, and so it's going to be interesting to see, because if Kevin Lee, the flashy guy, wins, then he would definitely be better at selling a fight for Conor McGregor. And then if he were to beat McGregor, which, again, I'm a Conor McGregor dick rider, but come on. No, he ain't beating him. But if he were to beat, then you've got a superstar.
Yeah, you've got eyeballs on the sport.
And so that would be interesting. But so
kind of like, what the fuck?
And I because I'm a little bit more of a purist in the fact that I love these money fights that they've been making because they're interesting. I want it to remain more of a sport than a spectacle. Yeah. Like, I appreciate the fact that it's cool that, like, Michael Bisping and George St. Pierre, there's no reason for that fight to be happening. Yeah. George St. Pierre hasn't fought in 4 years. Why is he getting a title shot against Michael Bisping, who's only...
That's tonight?
No, that's in November. That's the next card. That next card is fucking stock. That's got Joanna Jędrzejczyk. You know who she is? The strawweight champion, the Polish chick. She's fucking bad as fuck. She's got like at least 6 or 7 title defenses, and nobody can beat her. Nobody can beat her. She's awesome. Just search Joanna Champ, because nobody could spell her last name. It's like JDZECK. But yeah,
consonants, some vowels.
Yeah, Joanna Champ. But yeah, that's why the next card is going to be in and of itself way more exciting. But this has
Jesus, that last name.
Yeah, exactly. It's Jędrzejczyk, is how you say it. But the stakes are really interesting because it's gonna dictate how the next year of fights is gonna go. Because the other thing is, like, let's say Tony Ferguson beats Kevin Lee, then Conor might not necessarily want to take that fight.
Yeah.
And he might want to take the Nate Diaz fight.
Oh, I know this chick. I didn't know that name, though.
Not many people do. And then you have, let's say by chance Nate Diaz beats Conor McGregor, then you have Tony Ferguson and Nate Diaz, which again isn't as big of a pay-per-view, even though it would be a big buy because of Nate Diaz. It's like, then again, the UFC is scrambling to make money fights.
Yeah.
So again, it's like, oh, what kind of fights are we gonna make? And then keep in mind, it was only in the last year that the new owners bought the UFC.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah, they sold the original owners sold the UFC for $4 billion to these new guys, to IMG, I think it is. The company's called, but they so they've been the ones that are making a lot of money. Not that there wasn't money fights before, but it's interesting.
It seems a lot more spectacle since they took over.
Not a lot more, but there's definitely been. From my perspective, it seems like, all right, we spent all this money. Let's make sure we get it back.
Yeah,
and it's hard to see. Like the MMA math, as they call it, is not lining up. It's like, this person beat that person, so that person should get a shot at the title.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is not playing out the way it should. Like, George St. Pierre should not be fighting Michael Bisping. Robert Whittaker should be fighting Michael Bisping. And a whole bunch of other shit. The promotion, as well, has not been great for some of these champions. It's like a lot of these people have great stories that are just not being marketed well.
Yeah.
And it's like you have your Paige Van Zant, who, yeah, she's a bad little bitch, and you want to market the fact that she's a hot girl, but, then she gets fucking pink eye and ringworm. It's like, well, alright, that kind of knocks her stock down a little bit, and what are you going to do with that? I don't know. It's, I'm excited to see.
This chick got pink eye from eating booty?
I don't know if that's exactly what it was, but she does have a new boyfriend, and, hey.
Good lord. She can fight?
Bro, she can. I mean, she's like, I don't know what exactly.
She can fight?
I don't know
That's
exactly
awesome.
what her rank is, but she's definitely top 10. She's probably like number 7 in the strawweight division.
Good lord.
I mean, there's a number of chicks in that division who are doing work. And the interesting thing is, the current season of The Ultimate Fighter is for a brand new women's weight division, a flyweight division for women.
I need a heavyweight women.
260 and above, 250 and above, or 230, what is it, 205 and above?
Big old women. 205 is heavyweight?
No, 205 is light heavyweight. That's the limit, so over that is heavyweight. But right now they just have strawweight, which is 115, and bantamweight, which is 135.
Yeah, I definitely need.
So they have one. So yeah, they're doing a brand new division of 125, and they've had one fight, and they had one more scheduled in the flyweight division already. But I believe the winner of the season of The Ultimate Fighter gets the belt. I think it should be the winner of The Ultimate Fighter gets to fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that they've had 2 flyweight bouts, women's flyweight bouts of, somewhat seasoned UFC fighters, they should fight. The winner of that fights gets an interim belt or whatever you want to call it, but then fights the winner of The Ultimate Fighter for the first ever, because that's a big deal. First ever women's flyweight champion of the world. Like, if it's just someone who happened to win a game show, not saying that they can't fight, but it's like, it's under certain circumstances. You know, you may have been able to handle the pressure of being in the game show scenario.
You beat somebody that wasn't at that level.
Exactly. So it's like, how long are you going to hold on to that title? And for you to, like, Ronda Rousey was the first bantamweight women's champion, and she held on to that for a minute. So, I mean, even though the sport came and passed her by, and that Holly Holm head kick, everybody fucking knows that shit. And when Amanda Nunes beat the fuck out of her, and you know, all that.
She just stiffened up, dude.
Oh, beautiful.
It's time for cigarettes.
Alright, well, I mean, yeah, this was, like I said, this might have been a shorter episode. I think it's a good place to cut it off. Fucking stoked for tonight. You guys will know the results by the time this is out, but John, thanks for doing this, man.
I'll be back anytime you want me.
Indeed. Go follow, subscribe, and do all that shit.
The Wrestling Outsiders.
Wrestling Outsiders, and Conover will be back next time, but until then, peace out.
Nothing except that anything